everyone, welcome back to another episode of Friends from Work. I'm Tom, this is Sean, and on today's episode, we're going to be listing some of our favorite pilot episodes from TV series, obviously. But before we do that, do us a favor, leave a like right now, subscribe down below, follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Links are on the screen and down below. And this isn't a ranking list. We just want to give a shout out to a few of these. This will be an ongoing series. We'll update it every now and then.
Yeah, we'll
continuing
call this
on.
part one, yeah.
Yeah, we'll call it part one for now. If you do want to see more of this series, make sure to comment down below. Let us know because that is important. And yeah, I think he's about to say spoilers.
No, I was just going to say let us know what some of your favorite pilot
Episodes, yeah.
I guess spoilers as well if you haven't seen them.
If you haven't seen any of these fucking shows, obviously I don't care.
They are the pilots, so it's not much to spoil.
Correct. So I will go first. The one I listed, I think a lot of people agree with this. I was actually looking at some lists too. This is probably one of the more common ones, and I think we're all in agreement, is The Walking Dead's pilot, Days Gone By. The reason I put it is just because how realistic the reaction was for just a guy, a regular small town sheriff, waking up in a zombie apocalypse after he just got fucking blown the fuck up by a shotgun, and he's like confused, scared, worried, and he's in fear. He's like, where's my family? What the fuck is happening? I need someone. It was just a really good reaction.
The flashbacks were dope.
The flashbacks too, yes. The flashbacks were really well done. And how quick it was to emotionally grab you. Obviously for the main character, that I don't think it's super hard if you have a specific agenda for your main character, but they really did it well with Morgan, because Morgan in the comics was around a little bit longer, but he was only in the show for one episode until like later, and it was at season 5. But even then, like he didn't become a regular till like way later.
Yeah.
Like it was probably nearly a decade before they brought him back. So yeah, that was really cool how you got really emotionally invested in him too, and that just goes to show how good the writing was.
Split paths, they're like.
Yeah, that was my next point. Was how where is it? I'll just go in order. Actually, I don't want to go back and forth. How it truly can be. How hard it truly could be to lose loved ones in the apocalypse. That was really demonstrated with Morgan more so.
Yeah.
With his wife, and how emotionally draining it was for him. Like he hides it from his son, but when he would talk to Rick, you could just see how devastated it was. He was never able to kill his wife, and it was actually towards the. Excuse me, I'm just crying. Think about it. No, it just shows specifically. Was it? I think the last 20 minutes of the show, that like the third act, we'll call it, where in the premiere where they show you either accept this world or you just let it take you over.
Yeah.
And the great demonstration was the walker that Rick saw, the hospital walker, the bike girl, that's what they called it. And example, Rick was fear of it. He's like, fuck that, I'm not even gonna mess with it. And then that was at the initial part. And then towards the end of it, he goes up to her, puts her down, and it simultaneously.
It's like foreshadowing, where like it's the hitting of the switch, like you're not in Kansas anymore. Type
yeah,
shit,
that's
where, like,
exactly it.
Yeah, the Walking Dead one was very iconic, where it's just like you said, where there's a lot of foreshadowing. And
world
get,
building.
like,
that's it.
you get the iconic Rick shooting the little girl moment, where like you said, it opens up and he's just scared, and he's also a cop, so it's like he can't shoot a kid.
Yeah,
it
was hard.
A little girl.
He was stuck in his mindset.
You know
it was
what I
like
mean?
stuck in
by
the old world.
So where he realized like
I can't.
Yeah, where like he saw Morgan almost die and not trying to kill his wife or whatever, and he realized that like I can't be like that if I'm gonna save my family. So that was good. And then the ending is great when you think Rick's about to die, he's about to blow his own brains out, and then Glenn hits on the walkie like, "Hey,
dumbass, you in the tank." That's it. That's
and then you're like, "Fuck!" And then end scene, and you're like, "Fuck!"
Yes,
and definitely you're like, "I definitely have to see the next fucking."
Yeah,
episode.
like I said, the cliffhanger. I think that was the biggest part of when I made a few of my favorites for a pilot. They have to have a good cliffhanger. They have to have a phenomenal intro, because you got to get hooked. And then, they can trail off a little bit in the pilot, in the middle part. But if you don't have a really good cliffhanger at the end, who the fuck is going to watch the next episode? And the Walking Dead probably had one of the best intros, world building, and then
great intro,
definitely
and
cliffhanger was like
crazy cliffhanger.
Yeah, like you were saying earlier, like you saw how Morgan, he couldn't kill his wife, so that was a really good example. Walking in a future. Yeah. I didn't really, because I was recapping, like kind of skimming through it. All these pilots that I put on this list, And this showed Shane being back. And it set up another thing they set up for the series was the love triangle between Shane, Laurie, and Laurie.
They said something about them being kids, right? Or wasn't there like a mentioning when they were kids of Shane and Laurie or something?
I think
they made a comment about, oh, you stole the car. I forgot.
It was something like that. But it was like boys just like talking and shooting
exactly,
shit.
Yeah.
But like they set that up. But then we saw Shane in the original Atlanta group at like that little camp base they had with Dale and everyone. But it was like he was on the radio, and then him and Laurie got in an argument, and then. I didn't realize this. I mean, because maybe I just had so much knowledge and watched it a million times, I didn't even think about this. You see Shane and Laurie kiss, and you don't know who Laurie is until the very next scene after they kiss. Rick pulls down his visor, and you see Rick, Laurie, and Carl on a photo. I mean, you're like, holy fuck. Like, I didn't realize that. I thought we knew that from the jump, and I was like, oh, we have to know. No, they just mentioned the name or something like that.
Yeah, we didn't know what.
We didn't know who. Yeah,
we hadn't seen them yet.
No, until that scene, and then the next scene after that, we see Rick, the family photo. I'll just say.
Picture. Yeah.
Yeah. So that, again, another great example of the world building and storytelling they want to set up for that. And the tank scene was really well done, obviously, and it just sets up that the first season was like just really, really good.
Yes, very good.
They
timing, everything's going on.
It was really
very
good.
Intense.
So I would give that. Should we do ratings?
I don't know.
Nah.
Yeah, we gotta do ratings. But The Walking Dead, that's a classic. When there's ever a top 5 list, I'm imagining Walking Dead pilot will definitely be on it.
Oh, 100%. So go with one.
Another one I would say that's similar to that one that this is a little bit before Tom's time, but I'd say Lost.
Yeah, I saw that.
Huge premiere. They were running commercials for a year before it came out, and it was much anticipated, and so kind of along the lines of what Tom was saying with the big world building. The first episode, the pilot for Lost, I believe, is 2 episodes, or it's 2 hours. I don't know if it's 2 episodes or 2 hours, but I know it's 2 hours. I don't know if it's one episode that's 2 hours long or a 2-parter. But it starts like with the main character Jack like waking up in the middle of the jungle. Like you obviously tell there's been a car crash or a plane crash. And then it's just like reverse order. Like he's also a doctor, so he's getting up trying to save people, help them. It's a panic. There's people everywhere.
Yeah.
And then they simultaneously start going into flashbacks, but some of the flashbacks are like these people's personal lives before the flight. Some of them are flashbacks from like them on the flight, and just things of that nature. It's not. I wouldn't say it's like Walking the Dead in the sense where like it gets right into the action. Like I said, not until really end. It was a really monumental pilot. It was a much anticipated show.
Yeah.
And it really just explained a lot of the characters so much more. But like it was just an epic event of this huge plane crash.
Yeah.
On an island, and these people were stuck there, stranded. And in the ending, like how we were talking about with The Walking Dead and a cliffhanger, the ending is like it's finally nighttime and they hear like this crazy sound and then like this huge smoke monster is like going through the fucking forest, and they're like, what the fuck? And then funny enough, you never hear from about, well, I won't say you never hear, but it's like 10 episodes later, 15 episodes later before they ever even fucking explain what the fuck that smoke monster was. But I think Lost is, like I said, that'd be on the list. Like I said, there's not too many, I wouldn't say iconic moments during it per se, but it was just like the whole thing. It was like
establishing the world.
Yeah, it was they were building that universe. This was like right before, this was before streaming, so it was like every football game, basketball game, like commercials galore for this show.
Yeah.
And I think it delivered. It was very good. It was the pacing was great. And the writing was always good, and I've always liked Lost. They have some of the best characters in general.
Yeah.
And their call to fame to me is that the way they build up everybody's backstories, and they're all intertwined, and they all come full circle. 5 seasons later. Yeah. And the pilot is basically the start of that.
Okay. Yeah, that's a show I want to watch. It's one of those shows that I have on my list that I know is going to be good. Same thing with Sopranos. Like, I know I'm going to love both. Though. Yeah. I'll probably love Sopranos more. I just like that type of stuff more. But it's just one of those shows I know is going to be good. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Lost is good.
Yeah.
Lost is very good.
Next on my list, this is more of a recent show. It came out, I think 3-4 years ago now. I think 4. You. the pilot for that one, and I didn't realize because again I skimmed through it today and I was really looking through it and I did not realize how much shit happened.
I can't remember. I was gonna say I'm interested to see because I have seen the first season of You. And I remember in the totality, the first season of You
phenomenal
is amazing.
It's so good.
I thought it was like this girl or the show my wife wanted to watch, and I was like, "Why the fuck am I?"
Exactly, that's exactly what I'm
like, I'm not watching this stupid fucking show. And then my wife was like, "Come on, let's watch it." I'm like, "Whatever." I watch a couple and fall asleep, whatever.
Some girl
and then
bullshit.
I'm like, "Oh my god, what the hell is
that?"
Bitch,
wake up! We gotta watch this shit.
Like,
she's like, "Honey, I'm tired."
I remember we burned through that shit, but yeah, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
I can't remember what happened in the pilot.
Yeah. So after the introduction to the iconic narration of Joe Goldberg, that was a great thing. The gradual buildup of you realize how creepy he is, and I got some bullet points here. Her name is Beck, the first girl he fell in love with. Watching her at the bar, following her on the way home, and then he was standing across the street watching her fuck her boyfriend or boy toy Benji, and he was standing there imagining it was him, and he was like jerking off, like standing outside in public just beating his meat, and then breaking into her apartment and then going through her stuff, reading her text through like iMessage on her MacBook, and like being upset, like, oh look, she's talking about me. And then he almost gets caught. You remember the scene where she comes home and he's hiding in the shower, and she's like, she's on the phone or FaceTime, whatever. She turns on the shower. He's standing there like getting like soaking wet.
Oh yeah, fuck.
And I remember sitting there like, oh fuck. Like,
yeah, that shit was. Oh yeah, I remember that where he's. I didn't remember that was the first episode. When he's caught in
that's
her
only
house.
halfway through. That was like in the first 30 minutes. Like I said.
Oh yeah, because the end of the first episode that he kills that guy, right?
He's not killed. He's just trapped.
Oh, trapped.
Yes,
traps him. Yeah.
But yeah, getting caught in the shower, stalking her to the open mic, and then saving her at the subway. And a lot of these points, again, I'm not gonna. If you haven't seen everyone's seen it, but yeah, we already said spoilers, so fuck you. So saving her at the subway, thought, oh wow, what a coincidence. But then I forgot how it happened, but like again, they tie it back like 5 episodes later. Like he knew she was gonna be at that subway, and that he wanted to set that up. Like I said, the foreshadowments and little buttons and pins they put in the first episode, and you think, okay, well that's possible, but no, he's been fucking planning this shit for like 3 months prior to the pilot, which is insane. What does this say? So yeah, how every scene dialogue mattered. Like I said, that's my point. How the dialogue really did matter, and all the scenes mattered for future episodes. Because you're thinking, oh, I can follow this pretty well. Nope, and they do a really good job where you don't have to pay super close attention, but you're so engraved by the show that you're gonna remember it subconsciously, and then it'll show you it connects. I'm like, holy fuck. And the eventual like plot twist and connections throughout the season it builds off. And the edge off the seat feeling, and like I really want to rewatch it because I remember watching that first season, like you said, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
like, that's probably
when you brought that
scene,
and then when he almost got counted, I remember that.
I was so tense.
You're like, what?
Oh my god!
Because you're thinking like, oh, he's about to kill this bitch.
Yeah, I was like, oh fuck. And then like Sean said earlier, the ending scene where Benji is trapped, like he's like, oh, I gotta go take care, because the scene prior was like, because we thought in that the first episode Benji ditched her, like he knew it was like some alt fuck boy bullshit, like he was on some cool edgy shit, and then we found out later he never ghosted her. Fucking Joe threw him in that like book, the jail cell, but prior to that, Beck came in and they're flirting a bit, and then they eventually got together, and they're gonna go on a date the next episode or some shit like that. And then he's like, oh, I gotta go take care of a package. And then you see Benji trapped in the fucking basement, and then it ends there.
Yeah,
I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And
that was a good one. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
that
use fucking first episode. I thought
season in general.
Yeah, because I thought they spaced that shit out a lot. Like I couldn't remember the Benji scene, but that makes sense for a pilot. But I totally forgot. I thought that shower scene was like episodes later.
I was gonna say I remember it ending with the dude being locked in the thing or whatever. But I didn't remember like all that shit with their apartment and happened in the first episode.
Yeah. You?
But, well, you can be. I guess
it's your turn.
I don't really have much to say about You. That was a good.
No, I just meant like your other choice.
I had a couple on here. I'm going to say Heroes. It was a show on NBC.
Oh, was it with the guy who played the Thing?
Yeah, he's in that. Yeah, but it's also Hayden Panettiere's in it. She's a cheerleader. This was also like Lost, where they promoted the fuck out of this for like a year. It's about around the same time Lost came out, now that I think about it. Maybe a little bit before Lost. But it was like, save the cheerleader, save the world. And it was like...
I'm thinking of a different show, never mind.
Yeah. But this show is the show based in a universe where everyone has powers. The first episode, there's a solar eclipse. And this is the moment where everyone's powers unlock if you have latent abilities. And it's basically following certain people around the city. It's mostly in New York. There's a few people in New York, a girl in Kansas. There's people all over the globe. There's a guy in China. There's people all over the place. And you're following a select few. You'll meet some more, but these are like the important people with powers.
Yeah.
And they're all like basically getting their powers. Like the one's a cheerleader, and she's basically Wolverine, where like she can't die, she just heals. And like her opening scene is like her and her friends like recording her, and she like jumps off a bridge, like jumps like 30 feet off a thing, and like gets up and like fucking breaks her bone. Like, yeah, and it's like that was like in the trailer to the show too, where like it was, like I said, it was much hype. And then they kind of introduced the big bad. And he's like this guy who like his powers, he can take other people's powers, but he has to like literally take it out of your brain type of shit. And then, like I said, it was an iconic pilot episode where, like I said, it was much anticipated. It was wonderfully done. I'm assuming the budget was through the roof. And it was this really new, interesting thing that they really just hadn't been doing on TV before. Now we live in the era where like everything's superhero. Everybody's got powers, but like, and back then before it was like only Lois and Clark, but it was like Superman stuff. But this was like just some made up, ordinary, everyday people wake up with powers that they didn't have. Some are politicians, some are criminals, some are good people, some are bad people. And then
I heard about that show.
It's a very good show.
Because I know the logo where it's like a gold and then the O is like the eclipse.
Yeah, it's very good. It kind of fell off the rails after a couple seasons. I think they had too famous of people being in it, and it kind of derailed it.
When did it come out?
I would say 06 or 07, around then. And I think it did like 4 seasons, but it took like a 2 or 3 year break at one point. But I believe the pilot was a masterpiece. And at the end of it, you find out that like the cheerleader girl, her dad is like this agent who works for a company that captures people with powers, and like she's trying to hide her powers from him and things like that. And it's just like this web, like this web of all these people across the globe are all connected. And like I said, I think that was just, like I said, an iconic pilot episode, especially for my lifetime. Like I said, like I remember them promoting that for 6 months to a year on every football game, every fucking Jimmy Kimmel, and all that shit.
Yeah, I might have to check it out.
It's a pretty quick watch, and like you definitely like it. Like I said, it's just like it's a superhero show where like it's about a bunch of superheroes and like an organization of people who are trying to kill the ones who are too dangerous or that won't work for them type of shit. Yeah. And like, well, there's also like a big bad guy who's killing heroes and collecting their powers and turning himself into like a god, basically.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Anyways, sorry, I blinked for a sec, guys. Next on my list, I had Ozark, and the pilot was called Sugarwood. I was debating putting this on here because I don't know, it felt predictable. And also, I mean, it's Walking Dead's predictable as fuck. But I've just been like a mega fan, so I was able to break that down more. I have to rewatch.
I'd probably say Walking Dead's probably number one. If
it's definitely
unbiasedly,
top 5.
I mean, I love Walking Dead, but I can't think of a more talked about pilot than Walking Dead, like or just first season in general. Yeah. But I just think like Walking Dead, for like, I think to some vein, it changed TV. Like everything used to be so niche based. Like, everybody didn't watch Sopranos, even though it was a masterpiece.
Yeah. Not everyone like Breaking Bad till Netflix.
I think Walking Dead came in like the birth. I won't say the birth, but like the when social media finally blossomed, where like
to an extent,
where everyone's just like everyone's posting like you have to watch Walking Dead. Like when I grew up, I knew Sopranos was dope, but like everybody didn't watch Sopranos.
Yeah,
like everybody didn't watch The Wire. Like we grew up in the era now where like everybody watched. Who the fuck didn't watch Walking Dead? Who watched Game of Thrones? Like just these weird things that people didn't do. Like.
Yeah, I remember. I just recently, as you guys know, I just recently watched Game of Thrones this past year, and like I said, I was the weird one, which is funny. But yeah, like I said, guys, Ozark, Sugarwood, their pilot episode within the you show. I forgot his business. I should have written it down, but in like the first 10 minutes, we get introduced to, well, in the intro, we see Marty and we see how sad his life is really. First 10 minutes, he's with the client talking about some insurance bullshit. They're just blabbing, right? And then he, from his PI, he opens up a file and it shows that his wife is cheating. I mean, just like watching her getting fucked. Like, it's like, imagine like me just sitting here watching like, or I guess Sean, because he's married, watching his wife just getting fucked as we're doing an episode, and we're doing a review.
Yeah, just keep going.
Yeah,
it was bad. Yeah,
that was so weird. He's like, and it wasn't like he didn't get distracted or anything.
Yeah,
He's like, he still held that conversation like nothing was happening.
I guess it's foreshadowing how just like Marty's always calm under pressure.
Yeah.
Type of shit.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I put down to. It shows how sad his life is, and obviously the cartel is introduced because his business partner was doing some slimy shit with that, and like Sean said. We just really saw how Marty, or it foreshadowed how well Marty works under pressure.
He talks his way out of
situations. He's like a good bullshitter. Like he's like, obviously we know he gets out of situations, but he doesn't fucking know that in that situation. He just says some words that calms him down. He's like, and they're like, okay, yeah, that worked. And he's like, and then he goes home. He's like, how the fuck am I gonna do this? He's like, I just got to buzz another 12 hours. Yeah, Marty, fast on his feet. And the funny part was, I thought this was like in the episode or two later. No, it was like towards like the end. Wendy's side piece, he's going to confront him. He's like hyping himself. He's like, I'm gonna fucking talk to that piece of shit. Da 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 da. And then we fucking see the guy get thrown out the fucking window.
Yeah, I'll say to build off what you're saying right there. The first like 20 minutes of the pilot episode of Ozarks is extremely intense.
Yeah,
it opens up like you said. He's watching his wife get fucked. Mm-hmm. Then cut to the cartel kicking the door of his accounting firm and basically kill everybody except for Marty.
Yep.
Then and they're about to kill Marty. Marty pisses himself and talks his way out of it.
Yep.
They send Marty home. They know that his wife's cheating on him, and fucking like you said. Next scene, Marty's walking up to talk to the guy, and he gets thrown out of like 30 floors up in the air. And like dead, like explodes right in front of Marty.
And then he's like, whoop, turns right back around and walks to his car.
And then like fucking calls fucking his wife and is like, we gotta go fucking now. He's dead back or something. She tells him he's dead or whatever. Like, and then like, you know what I mean? Then he has to have that uncomfortable conversation with his wife where like the cartel's gonna kill his bitch.
Yep.
Like,
yeah, it was so good. Like I said, that show, the first season, that episode really established my hate for Wendy. And it's so weird. They did that show so good. I give credit to Ozarks for this, where you hated Wendy. Like the first season, like a majority of people fucking hated her. Like
honestly, to me, she always just felt like the villain. Like
she did, but like
the cartel
guy
was.
Then you started to understand. Like they welded it. Where it was like, oh, okay, I can kind of side with her. And they're like, actually, no, she's a fucking cunt.
Crazy bitch,
dumb bitch. Like they did it really well.
You meet other people who've known them for a long time, and she's a bitch to all of them. Like I said, Wendy to me was always the bad guy of that show. The only other time I thought there was somebody else as a bad guy was that old white bitch.
She was a fucking psycho.
And her husband. They were kind of like, but like the cartel dude, like wasn't really a bad guy. He was just like a businessman, like who had to be ruthless.
He was doing his job.
But like he would do nice things for them. So it's like he was like a bad guy in the overall sense of things. But like he wasn't like truly a villain to Marty. Like that, like Wendy kept doing dumb shit that like put them in the crossfire.
Wendy's a fucking
to make the cartel want to kill them. Like
I fucking hated Wendy.
But like the cartel would have been content with fucking Marty and them just figuring out like flipping the money.
Wendy was always starting shit. Like bitch, shut up.
She was always trying to get bigger than they were. The casino, all that shit. Like
and like Marty's like, I'm literally just trying to, and like it wasn't like Marty's clearly the bad guy. Marty's like, okay, we do this and we are fucking free. Wendy's like, well, no, let's get more involved with the
President of the United States.
She's like, let's get more involved with the cartel, and then I'm gonna bitch about it. I'm like, I want to fucking kill you, bitch. Like that annoyed me so much.
They like you said, they spawned that. I guess like you said, I don't know if it's foreshadowing, but like the initial like the first thing you see is Wendy's a piece of shit.
Yes.
Like she's cheating on her family. Like Marty seems like a good enough guy. Or got good enough kids. Like he's taking care of his family. Looks like in a great way. And it's fucking, and she's getting fucked by somebody else. So it's like
some older guy too.
Yeah,
some
like
old
so it's like
fuck.
fucking. She's a fucking piece of shit, and they open the show like letting you know that like a lot of shows.
She's very
like,
selfish.
A lot of shows like that were like the wife's the victim when the husband's a criminal. They're like, oh, she's just a victim. Kind of how they painted the bitch in Breaking Bad.
Fuck her, Skyler.
But like they paint her out the victim. Like you know what I mean? He's an abuser. It's like,
yeah, but like, she never changed. Like at least with Wendy, like she was like kept like. You like I was gonna bring that up too. Is like Skyler versus Wendy. Wendy, like you would like kind of side with that at some points. I watched Breaking Bad at least 5 to 8 times in my life. I've never been like, I understand Skylar. I'm like, honestly, fuck you. Like,
Skylar's a stupid
only
bitch.
time she was
But
cool.
what I'm saying is like she was always painted as the victim by everybody.
Yeah.
Like even though you don't like her, nobody likes her, but like she clearly is the victim of the situation. Like Wendy, like is fucking pouring gasoline on the fire. She's the one causing all the major
And she's like,
problems.
why is this happening? I'm like, I hate you. I fucking hate you. It was the worst. But yeah. Ooh, excuse me, guys. But yeah, that was my other one. Do you have another one?
Yeah, I have a few more, but I'll do one more. I have several ones, but this is one of my personal favorites. It was kind of a popular show. I think this is older than both of the ones I've already said. I actually watched this with my family growing up, so I know it's older. It's Alias. It's a show by Jennifer Garner long time ago, when she was young. It's a show about a CIA agent. She thinks she's a CIA agent, a young CIA agent, and she comes to find out that she actually isn't. She got recruited by an evil organization pretending to be the CIA, where they recruit pretending they are the CIA, and they have resources like the CIA. So you wouldn't know, and you can't really tell anybody because fucking you'll get killed. So the show opens up. She works for the CIA, and you're not allowed to tell your family members or anything like that. And she's getting married. Her husband her fiance pops the question, so she tells him in confidence and tells him he can't say anything.
Yeah.
She doesn't realize her entire house is bugged. Ah. So, like I said, that's how secret. It's called.
Was this a more mature show?
Yeah, it's an adult show. The whole house is bugged, and she comes back the next day, and her husband's murdered. And then she's like, "What the fuck?" And then she realizes, like, "Oh, I fucking told them." And he gets murdered the next day. What the fuck is going on? And then her father, who also works for this organization, SD6, reveals to her that it isn't. They aren't working for the U.S. government, that they're a black ops organization, only working in their own interests. Yeah. And that he was a double agent, and he basically tasks her. Now she becomes a double agent, and the whole, like I said, and that's basically the first episode. But it's just really, like I said, one of those ones, like I said, highly promoted, iconic. Jennifer Garner back then.
When did that come out?
I would, like I said, this started when I was a kid. I would probably say 2000.
Okay.
I'll have to look. Maybe 99. I'm going to look real quick. It's early, though. Like I said, I was probably too young to be watching this.
Jennifer Garner was...
my parents really enjoyed this show.
Yeah.
2001, September 30th. J.J. Abrams is the writer and producer.
Oh.
He also did Lost, too, now that I think about it. He did Lost as well. I have two of my list.
That's funny.
J.J. Abrams.
Well, I mean, that's why I was got to start.
Alias, like I said, it's an older show, so it's 20 episodes.
Yeah.
But it's like 5 or 6 seasons, but it is a masterpiece. J.J. Abrams kills it, but I think the pilot is amazing because, like I said, it's this young girl. Her fucking fiance gets killed. Yeah. And her whole world gets turned upside down.
Can you watch it anywhere?
I think last time I watched it was on Netflix. I think it's on Hulu.
Yo, fuck Hulu.
I don't like Hulu either because
Hulu pisses me off. This is a fucking side tangent now. Because I really want to rewatch Sons of Anarchy, but they know everyone wants to watch that show, so they fucking double the fucking ads in that show, and it ruins it for me. Like, I want to binge watch the fuck out of it again.
Oh, it's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, okay, bet.
Hulu.
Like, okay, fuck Hulu.
It says Disney Plus. That doesn't make sense.
No, stop the cap.
It says Disney Plus though.
Oh, I'll look it up. Well, we'll look it up after this, so I don't want to get distracted. But yeah, Hulu pisses me off.
It is on there.
Oh shit.
It is. Oh, it's an NBC show, aren't they? Owned by Disney? Yeah. Well, like I said, it's NBC.
We're owned by Disney at this fucking point.
Oh shit! I didn't even think about those. But it is, like I said, it's a quality show. It's a great writing. The pacing is a little slow sometimes. Like I said, it comes from the 2000s, so occasionally they'll do filler episodes. But again, it's like a filler episode about a hot chick being a spy, so it's really cool. And yeah, like I said, that pie was great. It's just Jennifer Garner kicking ass and taking names. Like I said, she's a super spy who's smart. And I believe actually the initial scene, it opens up, she's being tortured.
Nice.
The point of the show, a lot of the show is they kind of do it Tarantino style, where like they'll open the episode with like the end, like the bad situation she got herself in. And this one opens up, she's in like some club and like crazy. She's always got crazy costumes. She's always dressed up like a prostitute or somebody to kill somebody. And that's how it opens. She's getting like tortured by like two Korean soldiers, and then they're like, "Oh, cut back and tell her whole backstory." Like, what the fuck? But Alias, like I said, very underrated show, an extremely good pilot and first season in general. But like I said, those are just a few of ours. Like I said, we're gonna try to make this kind of a series.
Yeah,
so
we
many
won't
pilots
do it.
to choose
We
from.
won't do it too often.
I could sit around for hours upon hours. I've got like 10 right here. But yeah, we'll do more down the road. Let us know what you guys like. Some of our pilots or some of your favorite pilots. Comment down below. Obviously, leave a like and subscribe. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram. Links are on the screen and down below. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next episode. Peace out.